Hello and welcome to my video. In this video, I'm going to begin the discussion on consciousness with the scientific views, what scientists believe, and I've also seen now that some scientists have deviated a lot from the physical only model that consciousness arises out of brain activity, neural activity. In a later video, I will explain my understanding that it is non-physical. I agree with the scientists that are rejecting the physical model and talking about a non-physical reality. My understanding comes from a near-death experience. Consciousness is defined as our awareness of self and our surroundings, and it is the essence of our subjective experience. There is no one single scientific theory of consciousness that is universally accepted by all scientists. There are many theories. There are two major theories of consciousness, but even there's no consensus. And in fact, it's so bad that some scientists are calling one of those theories as pseudoscience. Science has a big problem with the research needed for consciousness. The reason is because science is objective. Consciousness is subjective. No two scientists can observe it. This was coined the hard problem of consciousness by the Australian philosopher David Chalmers. So really, there's no real research that has been done on consciousness. All those theories of consciousness that we are being shown are all at best hypotheses, unproven hypotheses. We think that it could be blah, blah, blah. Most of the theories of consciousness, theories inverted commas of course, and certainly the two that are considered the two main theories, all attempt to explain how brain activity gives rise to subjective experience, or in other words, consciousness. The integrated information theory of consciousness is basically saying that when the whole system, in other words, the whole brain, it generates more information than the parts alone, then we have a conscious experience. The global workspace theory is basically saying that there is the existence of a global workspace in the brain, and in this workspace, information is made globally available to various cognitive processes, and that this then gives rise to consciousness. It is often compared to a theatre where there is a stage lit up by the spotlight of attention, and only those actors, whoever comes onto the stage, is visible, meaning that it is in the conscious state, in consciousness. All the rest, the behind the scenes and audience, etc., are all the unconscious state. Now, not only is there a problem here that these theories are not derived from scientific experimentation, they're not substantiated facts, there is evidence that flies totally into the face of these theories. And that is that there has been examples seen where people have shown evidence of consciousness in an unconscious state, in a coma, a near-death experience, but where there is no brain activity going on. Now, realistically, you might say, well, if it's in the room where the person's body is lying comatose, possibly maybe the brain is picking up on something. There is some sort of perception. However, there are cases where the doctors or other people are discussing things and saying things are a long way down the corridor from the ward where the comatose patient is lying. And there is no earthly way, even in full consciousness, that somebody could hear and see what's going on much further away down the corridor. And while it is possible to overhear something, maybe, even that would be too far away, but let's say maybe, it is impossible for somebody in a room to actually see what's going on, see mannerisms, behaviours of some sort, things happening outside down the corridor. So there is some evidence that really can't be denied that the person in the near-death experience perceiving something further away, that the brain cannot be involved. It is impossible. It is hard to know how many scientists would consider that consciousness is non-physical. But there are some famous ones amongst them that believe that consciousness is not physical. In fact, two of them are famous physicists and Nobel Prize laureates. One of them, the originator of the quantum theory, Max Planck, said, "I regard consciousness as fundamental. I regard matter as derivative from consciousness. We cannot get behind consciousness." Everything that we talk about, everything that we regard as existing, postulates consciousness. This was Max Planck. The other Nobel Prize laureate, Erwin Schrödinger, who is famous for a foundational equation in quantum mechanics, also said that consciousness is fundamental. He described it as a single entity and not the byproduct of complex matter. Furthermore, Schrödinger had said that he believed that there is only one consciousness in the universe. He seemed to equate consciousness to mind because he had gone on to say that our individual minds are only different reflections of this single consciousness. Federico Faggin is another well-known scientist and the inventor of the microprocessor, without which we would not have computers today. He also argues that consciousness is fundamental and not arising out of neural activity in the brain. Matter, the material universe, emerges from consciousness. Like these scientists, I am also convinced that consciousness is fundamental. In the next video, I will discuss my near-death experience and give you my understanding. Thank you for viewing my video.